Welcome to this transformative self-coaching program designed to help you integrate and heal the pattern and beliefs of judging and criticizing others. This is an emotional EMDR mini course whose goal is to guide you through a process of understanding, reframing, and building resilience to this pattern or belief. It is recommended that you use this program in full screen mode, while sitting still and upright. Follow the movements of the ball or pattern on the screen with your eyes. As the words from the audio are spoken, notice the feelings they evoke in your body and any mental images that may arise. If your mind starts to wander, gently redirect your focus back to the moving ball or pattern. Optionally, or if you are not able to use video, you can also tap on one or more EFT points. How it works. In step 1, we evoke the distressful emotional state of the belief or pattern. Note: this can be emotionally triggering, so take the necessary precautions for this. In step 2, we offer ourselves loving, compassionate self-acceptance for this state and beliefs. We then reframe the belief, pattern or state with new positive suggestions to the mind. We then bridge the mind into the new, more positive reality. We finally express gratitude for the new positive reality, taking it as fact. Ready. Section 1. Unpacking emotional experiences. We begin with a setup of the issue. Even though I struggle with this pattern, I choose to still deeply love, honor and accept myself, and I am open to a more empowering state of being. Take a deep breath. I often find myself judging others harshly. It's like I can't help it. I was constantly criticized as a child, so now I tend to do the same to others. My family has always been judgmental, it's just how we are. I feel like my critical nature is something I inherited, almost like a family trait. I grew up in a culture where judging others was normal, so I learned to do it too. I always look for evidence to confirm my negative opinions about people. I criticize others to distract myself from my own insecurities. When I see someone doing better than me, I find faults in them to feel better about myself. I believe that being critical helps me stay realistic and grounded. I constantly compare myself to others and usually find them lacking. I feel like the universe keeps showing me how people are untrustworthy and flawed. My negative thoughts about others seem to attract more negative experiences into my life. I feel like my low energy and negativity are blocking good things from happening to me. I've noticed my relationships suffer because of my judgmental nature. Deep down, I think my critical attitude makes me a less likable person. I often project my own faults onto others, criticizing them for what I dislike in myself. My judgmental behavior makes me feel guilty, but I can't seem to stop. My life feels limited and negative because I focus so much on the faults of others. I often feel stressed and unhappy because of my critical nature. I believe that if people were more like how I want them to be, I'd be happier. I feel like I can't trust anyone because I always find something wrong with them. I've lost friends because of my tendency to judge and criticize. I worry that my critical nature will eventually lead to health problems. I feel stuck in a cycle of negativity that I can't escape. I secretly fear that my critical attitude is a reflection of my own failings. I often feel superior to others because of my judgments. I think my ability to find faults in others is a form of intelligence. I feel like being critical protects me from getting hurt or disappointed. I've noticed that the more I judge others, the worse I feel about myself. I think the world is a harsh place, and my judgmental attitude is just a response to that. I believe that by criticizing others, I'm helping them improve. I feel like my negative opinions about others are usually justified. I often find myself alone or isolated because of my critical nature. I feel powerless to change my judgmental tendencies. I secretly enjoy finding faults in others. It gives me a sense of control. Section 2. Feel into this balanced, compassionate perspective from your inner coach. Maintain your attention on the EMDR screen, following the movements of the shape or pattern with your eyes. I warmly welcome my tendency to judge others harshly, seeing it as a part of my unique journey. I lovingly accept the habit of criticizing others, understanding it's a reflection of my past experiences. I compassionately acknowledge my family's judgmental nature as a part of my heritage. I gently hold my critical nature, recognizing it as a legacy passed through generations. I kindly embrace the cultural norm of judging others, acknowledging it's how I was taught to see the world. I tenderly acknowledge my pattern of seeking evidence to confirm negative opinions, seeing it as a learned behavior. I hold space for my use of criticism as a shield against my own insecurities, understanding its roots. I warmly accept my habit of finding faults in others to feel better about myself, recognizing it as a human response. I lovingly acknowledge my belief in critical realism, understanding it as a perspective I've chosen. I gently hold my tendency to compare myself to others, seeing it as part of my journey towards self-awareness. I compassionately welcome the feeling that the universe shows me people's flaws, acknowledging my unique perspective. I lovingly accept my pattern of attracting negative experiences through my thoughts, recognizing it as part of my learning. I tenderly hold the belief that my negativity blocks positivity, understanding it as a part of my current experience. I warmly embrace the impact of my judgmental nature on relationships, seeing it as a reflection of my inner world. I kindly acknowledge my fear of being less likable due to criticism, understanding it as a part of my self-awareness. I compassionately hold my tendency to project faults, recognizing it as a mirror of my inner challenges. I gently embrace my feelings of guilt around being judgmental, seeing them as signals for growth. I lovingly acknowledge the perception of a limited life due to focusing on others' faults, understanding its impact on me. I warmly accept my stress and unhappiness from being critical, recognizing it as part of my emotional landscape. I compassionately hold the belief that others should meet my expectations, understanding it as part of my desire for a better world. I lovingly embrace my difficulty in trusting others, acknowledging it as a reflection of my inner fears. I gently acknowledge the loss of friends due to judgment, seeing it as part of my relational journey. I tenderly hold my concerns about the health impacts of criticism, understanding them as a sign of self-care. I compassionately accept feeling stuck in negativity, recognizing it as a phase in my personal growth. I lovingly embrace the fear that my critical attitude reflects my failings, understanding it as part of my self-discovery. I gently hold my feelings of superiority through judgment, recognizing them as aspects of my self-identity. I compassionately acknowledge my belief in the intelligence of fault-finding, understanding it as part of my worldview. I warmly accept the idea that being critical protects me from harm, seeing it as a coping strategy. I tenderly hold the realization that judging others affects my self-esteem, understanding it as part of my emotional journey. I lovingly embrace my view of the world as harsh, recognizing it as a reflection of my experiences. I gently acknowledge my belief in helping others by criticizing, seeing it as a reflection of my intentions. I compassionately hold my justifications for negative opinions, understanding them as part of my perspective. I warmly accept my isolation due to critical nature, seeing it as an opportunity for introspection. I lovingly embrace my feelings of powerlessness in changing judgmental tendencies, recognizing them as a starting point for transformation. I gently hold my secret enjoyment of finding faults in others, understanding it as a part of my human complexity. Section 3. Visualizing positive change. Take a deep breath. I am choosing now to see the beauty and value in others, celebrating their unique qualities. I am open to the possibility of expressing kindness and understanding, reflecting the love I received even amidst criticism. I could consider embracing my family heritage while cultivating my own path of tolerance and acceptance. It would be nice if I could see my critical nature as a stepping stone to developing compassion and empathy. It is possible that I can learn new ways of relating to others, moving beyond cultural norms of judgment. I can start focusing on positive traits in people, creating a more uplifting perspective. I am willing to explore self-love and confidence, reducing the need to criticize others as a defense. I have the opportunity to celebrate others' successes, finding joy in their achievements as well as mine. I am capable of embracing a balanced view, recognizing both strengths and weaknesses in myself and others. I embrace the idea of self-acceptance, reducing the need to compare and find others lacking. I am ready to see the universe as a source of positive lessons, focusing on trust and goodness in people. I am beginning to see my thoughts as powerful tools for attracting positive experiences. I am receptive to cultivating a positive energy, opening doors to beneficial opportunities. I am shifting towards building stronger relationships through understanding and acceptance. I am open-minded about being more likable through kindness and less judgment. I am allowing myself to recognize my own strengths and work on my weaknesses, rather than projecting them. I can imagine a life free from guilt, filled with understanding and acceptance of myself and others. It might be beneficial to focus on the beauty and potential in life and people, expanding my world. I am prepared to find peace and happiness within, regardless of my external judgments. I am choosing to focus on creating my own happiness, independent of others' actions or characteristics. I am open to the possibility of building trust by focusing on the positive aspects of people. I can see the potential for rebuilding friendships with a more accepting and open heart. I am becoming more aware of nurturing my mental and physical health through positive thoughts and compassion. I am starting to believe in my ability to break free from the cycle of negativity, embracing a brighter outlook. I am ready to let go of self-criticism and embrace self-compassion, understanding that my past does not define my present. I am exploring the idea of valuing humility and equality, moving away from feelings of superiority. I am creating space for a new understanding of intelligence, one that includes empathy and kindness. I am entertaining the thought of vulnerability as a strength, allowing myself to be open without judgment. I am willing to consider that self-love improves my relationship with myself and reduces the need to judge others. I am opening myself up to seeing the world with hope and positivity, rather than as a harsh environment. I am giving myself permission to encourage rather than criticize, fostering improvement in a nurturing way. I can see the value in understanding and empathy over justification of negative opinions. I am leaning towards building connections rather than isolation, focusing on positive interactions. I am actively seeking ways to empower myself, transforming my judgmental tendencies into understanding. I am curious about finding joy in others' uniqueness, letting go of the need for control through criticism. Section 4. Bridging the two worlds from emotion to aspiration. Remember to maintain your focus on the EMDR screen, following the movements of the shape or pattern with your eyes. Even though I often find myself judging others harshly, I warmly welcome this tendency as a part of my journey, and I am choosing now to see the beauty and value in others, celebrating their unique qualities. Although I was constantly criticized as a child, I lovingly accept this habit, understanding its roots, and I am open to expressing kindness and understanding, reflecting the love I received amidst criticism. Despite my family's judgmental nature, I compassionately acknowledge it as part of my heritage and could consider embracing this heritage while cultivating my own path of tolerance and acceptance. While I feel my critical nature might be inherited, I gently hold this nature, recognizing it as a legacy, and it would be nice to see it as a stepping stone to developing compassion and empathy. Even though I grew up in a culture of judging others, I kindly embrace this norm, acknowledging how I was taught to see the world, and it is possible that I can learn new ways of relating to others, moving beyond this norm. Although I often seek evidence to confirm negative opinions, I tenderly acknowledge this pattern as learned behavior, and I can start focusing on positive traits in people, creating a more uplifting perspective. Even though I use criticism as a shield against insecurities, I hold space for this behavior, understanding its roots, and I am willing to explore self-love and confidence, reducing the need for such defenses. Despite finding faults in others to feel better about myself, I warmly accept this habit as a human response, and I have the opportunity to celebrate others' successes, finding joy in their achievements. While believing that being critical keeps me realistic, I lovingly acknowledge this perspective and am capable of embracing a balanced view, recognizing strengths and weaknesses in myself and others. Although I constantly compare myself to others, I gently hold this tendency, seeing it as part of self-awareness, and I embrace the idea of self-acceptance, reducing the need for comparison. Even though I feel the universe shows me people's flaws, I compassionately welcome this feeling, acknowledging my perspective, and I am ready to see the universe as a source of positive lessons. While my negative thoughts seem to attract more negative experiences, I lovingly accept this pattern, recognizing it as part of my learning, and I am beginning to see my thoughts as tools for attracting positivity. Even though I feel my negativity blocks positivity, I tenderly hold this belief, understanding it as part of my experience, and I am receptive to cultivating positive energy, opening doors to beneficial opportunities. Although my relationships suffer because of my judgmental nature, I warmly embrace this impact, seeing it as a reflection of my inner world, and I am shifting towards building stronger relationships through understanding. While fearing that my critical attitude makes me less likable, I kindly acknowledge this fear, understanding it as part of self-awareness, and I am open-minded about being more likable through kindness. Even though I often project my faults onto others, I compassionately hold this tendency, recognizing it as a mirror of my challenges, and I am allowing myself to recognize and work on my own weaknesses. Although my judgmental behavior makes me feel guilty, I gently embrace these feelings, seeing them as signals for growth, and I can imagine a life free from guilt, filled with understanding. While my life feels limited due to focusing on others' faults, I lovingly acknowledge this perception, understanding its impact, and it might be beneficial to focus on the beauty and potential in life and people. Even though I often feel stressed and unhappy because of my critical nature, I warmly accept these emotions, recognizing them as part of my emotional landscape, and I am prepared to find peace and happiness within, regardless of external judgments. Although I believe others should meet my expectations to make me happy, I compassionately hold this belief, understanding it as part of my desire for a better world, and I am choosing to focus on creating my own happiness, independent of others' actions. While I struggle to trust others, finding faults in them, I lovingly embrace this difficulty, acknowledging it as a reflection of my inner fears, and I am open to the possibility of building trust by focusing on positive aspects of people. Even though I've lost friends due to my judgmental nature, I gently acknowledge this loss, seeing it as part of my relational journey, and I can see the potential for rebuilding friendships with a more accepting heart. While worrying that my critical nature may lead to health problems, I tenderly hold these concerns, understanding them as self-care, and I am becoming more aware of nurturing my health through positive thoughts and compassion. Even though I feel stuck in a cycle of negativity, I compassionately accept this feeling, recognizing it as a phase in personal growth, and I am starting to believe in my ability to break free, embracing a brighter outlook. Although I secretly fear that my critical attitude reflects my failings, I lovingly embrace this fear, understanding it as part of self-discovery, and I am ready to let go of self-criticism and embrace self-compassion. While I often feel superior due to my judgments, I gently hold these feelings, recognizing them as aspects of my identity, and I am exploring valuing humility and equality, moving away from superiority. Even though I think fault-finding is a form of intelligence, I compassionately acknowledge this belief, understanding it as part of my worldview, and I am creating space for a new understanding of intelligence that includes empathy. Although I believe being critical protects me from harm, I warmly accept this idea as a coping strategy, and I am entertaining the thought of vulnerability as a strength, allowing openness without judgment. While noticing that judging others worsens my self-esteem, I tenderly hold this realization, understanding it as part of my emotional journey, and I am willing to consider that self-love improves my self-relationship and reduces the need to judge others. Even though I view the world as harsh, I lovingly embrace this view, recognizing it as a reflection of my experiences, and I am opening myself up to seeing the world with hope and positivity. Although I believe criticizing others is helpful, I gently acknowledge this belief, seeing it as a reflection of my intentions, and I am giving myself permission to encourage rather than criticize, fostering improvement in a nurturing way. While I justify my negative opinions about others, I compassionately hold these justifications, understanding them as part of my perspective, and I can see the value in understanding and empathy over justification. Even though I often find myself alone due to my critical nature, I warmly accept this isolation, seeing it as an opportunity for introspection, and I am leaning towards building connections rather than isolation. While feeling powerless to change my judgmental tendencies, I lovingly embrace these feelings, recognizing them as a starting point for transformation, and I am actively seeking ways to empower myself, transforming my judgmental tendencies into understanding. Although I secretly enjoy finding faults in others, I gently hold this enjoyment, understanding it as part of my complexity, and I am curious about finding joy in others' uniqueness, letting go of the need for control through criticism. If you were tapping, you can stop as we go into gratitude. Section 5. Preemptive gratitude for transformation. These affirmations are designed to uplift your spirit, align you with your highest self, and resonate with the boundless love and support that the universe offers you. I am grateful for my journey towards understanding and compassion, as it enriches my soul and connections with others. I am thankful for the strength to transform criticism into kindness, reflecting the love within me. I am grateful for my family heritage, which has given me the perspective to choose acceptance and tolerance. I am thankful for the lessons learned from my critical nature, guiding me towards empathy and compassion. I am grateful for the cultural influences in my life, as they have shaped my path to embracing inclusivity and non-judgment. I am thankful for the ability to focus on positive traits in others, enriching my life with joy and positivity. I am grateful for discovering self-love and confidence, diminishing the need for external validation through criticism. I am thankful for the joy found in others' successes, as it reflects the abundance in my life. I am grateful for a balanced perspective, appreciating both strengths and weaknesses in myself and others. I am thankful for the gift of self-acceptance, allowing me to celebrate my unique journey without comparison. I am grateful for the universe's lessons in trust and goodness, illuminating my path with hope and positivity. I am thankful for the power of my thoughts in attracting positive experiences, shaping a life of fulfillment. I am grateful for the opportunity to cultivate positive energy, opening doors to wonderful possibilities. I am thankful for the growth in my relationships, fostered by understanding and acceptance. I am grateful for the kindness I extend to myself and others, enhancing my likability and connections. Section 6. Closing and next steps. Take a deep, rejuvenating breath. Congratulations on completing this transformative session. Take a note of how you feel in comparison to how you started, and consider journaling your notes about this session and any areas you'd like to explore. Be attentive to the potential reduction in the emotional weight of certain memories and actual circumstance shifts in your daily life. Note that it may take one, several, or many uses of this program to completely clear or reframe this pattern and beliefs. This program and affirmations serve to fortify your inner journey toward a more empowered state. Feel free to revisit them whenever you need to. For more details, see the link in the bio or description below.